Bash.
Hello, everybody. Good evening to you all and welcome. We have finished our second and final break week of the season, which means it is time for the ninth round of AEC Tier S at the Temple of Speed. That is Monza. My name is Joseph and I'm very delighted to welcome back NRX Loveland. How you doing, mate?
Yep, very good, very good. Recovering slightly from illness, so not on my A game, but not too bad. Last stint of the season now, and 18 points between P1 and P2. A lot of points on offer tonight, and the battle's going to go right down to the wire.
Yeah, it should be really exciting indeed. I thought we might have started by now. I've not timed this very well, have I? But it seems that everybody's taking an age. There we go. People have taken an age to pick their Pirellis. 19 on the grid today. Late withdrawal from FGE. And for Patrick, who has fallen ill before the race. So all the best to him. We hope he feels better for the upcoming rounds. And I would like to, before we get any further in this qualifying session, shout out as well the other FGE driver this evening, Stabby Boy, making history, becoming the first driver to compete in AEC Tier 2, AEC Tier 1, and AEC Tier S. What a moment that is for him. He feels like it's the biggest race he's ever done, and based on the quality of some of the drivers here, I cannot blame him one bit.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that grid, it's full of Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 drivers. And Stabby, you'd have to say, is the outlier, but he's taking it on the chin, ready for the challenge. I think he raced in Big Two's Evo the other day, which was at this track. So not too alien to him. He's got a few laps under his belt. And I think his goal tonight, to be honest, is to finish the race, you know. There's points down to P14, I believe. A few DNFs, he could pick up a point, which I think he'll be over the moon with.
Absolutely, and FGE currently down in 8th in the championship. That's of the current teams. I think those that aren't with us are now sort of excluded from our official chart. So FGE trying to fend off TIR on 11 points and Shizu on a mere 4 points down at the bottom. But tonight is unique in that it is our second sprint race of the season following from round 5, the last one we had at Silverstone, which makes this qualifying session, I mean, usually it'd be in the evening on realistic, but sort of Friday midday qualifying, if this was in real F1 terms, which might make the track a little bit grippy, and I'm sorry, a little bit less grippy. And I know some of the drivers found out that it was only a sprint race a few hours ago, so preparations might be varying.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my NRX drivers, you know, they knew it was a sprint, so we're pretty well prepared. Rusty being the NRX driver on a lap, and they've tried to get a tow there, and Levi's not pulled out in time, and Rusty actually clipped the back of him. I don't think he got any damage, but that's not ideal. So Rusty's slightly hindered on his banker. I'm sure there'll be a few words between engineer and driving there, but yeah, Rusty first on the lap. Last sprint we had, Joseph, I know you like to bring it up. NRX didn't have the best race. It was a bit of a stinker, I believe, but hopefully less of that tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys don't know, NRX went on to qualify 1-5. For the start of the sprint race, Levi jumps the start, and the pole sitter that evening also jumped the start. Which ultimately caused NRX's lowest points haul of the season at just 7 points. Obviously continuing their streak of scoring in every round, partially thanks to this man Rusty, who's on a 3-race win streak and already dips into the 1-minute 18s.
Yep, very good lap from Rusty. Considering he was hindered in Sector 1, that's a very good banker from the NRX driver. I'm not sure who else is on the lap. I know Smokey's on the lap. He's in Sector 1. Trying to find someone that's coming up to the line. Joe Murphy comes to the line, 19.1, just 2.5 tenths off Matthew, or Rusty I should say. Very consistent drive throughout the season. Duran in P2, I think he's making his AEC debut tonight, so what a way to announce yourself.
Indeed, and another debut, I believe, the TIR driver, of Skiller?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Call him Komodo.
Komodo.
It's easier.
I love the name.
Yeah.
But Komodo for TIR completing his first lap in the championship, round in the final corner to complete a lap. Probably slower than my time trial time, but at least he's got one on the board, and at least he's got that delta.
Yep, someone else who just got a lap on the board. PSR Smokey can't quite match the pace of Rusty, and he goes into P2 just 500ths off of pole. VSR Egger as well with a very competitive lap, just 1/10 off of Rusty. A driver that I think really peaks in the race. That's his strong point. So if he can qualify high up, he could be a outside shot for P1 tonight, and that would be good for their battle between BRT and Furious. Just gone into P7.
Absolutely, and with the 9-lap sprint race on the horizon, if you can get some race, if you focus on your race pace, you can have a really good chance of improving on that initial starting position, and thus we might see a little bit more race-centric setups this evening. Liam Bowman, his VSR teammate, Ogween to the top of the timesheet.
Hello.
With a 1 minute 18.868. Didn't quite catch that one, but that purple lap time really setting the timing sheets alight. Liam Bowman to cross the line now. He goes up to P6, and there's about 2.5 tenths in that said top 6. And it is looking close, as it usually is around this famous circuit.
I think that's going to raise a few eyebrows. TVA Ogween, provisional pole, 118.8 banker. That is very solid. PSR Kai, I believe, invalidated his first run as well. So on the back foot, you'd have to say. Levi only P10, very far off the pace. So must have made a mistake. But yeah, very close to the top. And you'd have to say Team Velour are looking very comfortable around here.
Absolutely. Someone less comfortable so far is Stabby, but he might be having another go now. I think he's backed out on this one with a pretty lackluster lap time of a 1 minute 33.671. If it was the wet conditions, it might be a very good banker, but unfortunately the track is bone dry. The skies are sunny. Elite Risks pulling into the pit lane without a lap. PSR Kai yet to get on the board either, for the man currently 6th in the standings with 2 third-place finishes to his name. But I would like to, of course, talk about Rusty, who can become the champion this evening. And what he needs to do is, I believe, score 22 points to guarantee beating Skither, who's not racing this evening. And I believe outscoring Joe Murphy by 19 will be enough. There's 106 points that remain after this evening.
Yeah, it'll be tough because Joe Murphy always seems to be in that top 3, top 4 mix. So to outscore by 19 points with this point system,
wrong.
Very difficult.
I'm wrong.
What is the gap?
No, I've counted another sprint race, so get rid of 10. It's 96 that remains by tonight. Ooh. So it would be 9 points.
Now that is possible.
I think. Sorry.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, I've wrote that wrong. I knew something didn't look right, but at least I've corrected it early on, and I've not gone the whole stream thinking, yeah, sorry about that.
Something that's going to benefit Rusty as well. BRT both on outlaps at the same time, so no toes for them. So you'd have to say you're instantly losing about a 10th compared to everyone else who most likely will be doing toes. So yeah, you'd have to say advantage Rusty going into the sprint race.
Yeah, I think Tom is going to check for me, and he can, if he's about, he can do the live maths. But I think I've narrowed it down a little bit because, yeah, I don't think anybody can beat that win tally either. With 4 races left, 5 race wins on the board for Rusty. So sort of ignoring countback here and the very little impact that will have. Joe Murphy round to the final corner now. What an impressive season he has had. He can jump into P2 in the championship tonight with just 4 points scored this evening. He's got a very good chance of doing so with that said sprint race. I did want to ask you about slipstreaming, Loveland, because there's a few different areas on the circuit to do it. You can do it through turn 3, the Curva Grande. You can also do it on the run down to Parabolica for the 2 areas that don't have DRS. Obviously, I believe that makes it a little bit more powerful because you've already got that rear wing open to help you reduce the drag. So, what do you think the best place on the circuit is to do it?
I mean, I think I'm in the common majority that everyone seems to think it's up turn 4, and you'd have to agree because you get the slipstream all the way up that straight, and if you laid it out, it's probably just slightly longer than the run up to Parabolica. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of teams doing that. Kai got a slipstream on this lap from his teammate Smokey, and Rusty is getting one as we speak from Levi. So a very common place. Kai's actually on a very good lap. He's done a 52.3 middle split. So he's now coming through the final straight, you'd have to say. But Joe Murphy also on a lap. Needs to get a time on the board. P7 at the moment. Rusty, his championship rival, or if you could say rival, is P2. Comes to the line, looking like a good lap. It's P3. Slots into P2. And what about Kai? He needs a lap on the board. He's P19. He goes P1. Top to bottom to top. 18.76.
P1 for the world record holder at Monza on Xbox. No surprise to see him running the show in qualifying, and that's Rusty not running the show, running the wrong way round for a moment, exiting Ascari. It's so easy to do as you pick up the throttle through that second part of the corner, and NRX Rusty gonna be on the back foot. That's Levi, I think, queuing up behind him to start his lap, so that's kind of ruin their plans. I don't think it has, because Rusty can still give the slipstream, of course, staying out here. So apologies for that misjudgment. Smokey is out there on the moment. Bit of a twitch coming through Lesmo while these low downforce setups being pushed to their limits, Loveland.
Yeah, very unlucky from Rusty. Haven't really seen him make a mistake in practice all day. So now the pressure's on. It's coming back to haunt him. He was 2 tenths up on his time. Would have gone provisionally P1. But didn't quite hook up the lap. Levi's teammate, though, Toads have no problem this time. He's matched his first sector, and this is where he lost all his time on his banker in the middle sector. Absolutely perfect turn 4. Traction down perfectly. Now, Degner 1, he commits in 6th gear, doesn't decide to shift down. Now on power. This is the tricky corner. You don't want to clip the grass on the left. He does it very nicely. Looking like a very calm and composed lap from the NRX driver. VSR Egger in P2, Duran P3 now, so the times are tumbling, and Levi does a 52.5, so a 10th and a half off Kai, I believe, but definitely in the mix to get up with the top drivers.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't know we were racing around Suzuka. Degner 1.
Is that, what was it called? Lesmo. Oh god. This is why you do track notes, guys.
It's alright. Back onto Levi, round in the final corner, hugging that inside nice and early, as you do, and to cross the line and go 7th. A good effort by the top team in the championship so far, but that 18-point gap to PSR behind, still very, very close at this stage in the season. They still want to be up there fighting with Kai, and I think it's going to be a really good race for Kai. That Xbox World Record will give him a lot of confidence for qualifying, but come the sprint, it'll be a completely different challenge holding on to that pole position. If he does get it with, obviously, DRS trains and just 9 laps in it, it's going to get desperate.
Yeah, I think NRX will be quite disappointed at the moment. Only 5th and 7th. You've got PSR in 1 and 8, so Smokey must have invalidated or made a mistake. Stabby, by the way, coming to the line. He's 2 tenths up, but he decides to pit. He must have lost all the time. But he's P16. Yeah. He's ahead of the TIR drivers, you know. That's the fight between FG and TIR, so good stuff from Stabby. But yeah, NRX really need some good final laps, because going into the sprint, being 5th and 7th, we know how tight it gets at turn 1. It's so easy to get damage, and yeah, it's going to be a tricky race if they're starting this far down.
Komodo to cross the line and go 16th, displacing Stabby down there, and I can confirm it is 9 points that Rusty needs over Joe Murphy this evening. I wrote it down as 106 points left because I added the sprint points, basically, for this race, which isn't right, of course. There's no more sprints this season. So, yeah, 96 points will remain after this one, and Rusty needs 9 points over Joe Murphy. Have we got that? Good. Tom Nepp requesting a fact from Stabby, and I did mention it at the start of the stream. If you weren't here, he is the only driver to have competed in Tier 2, Tier 1 and Tier S. So a great achievement, and one he is relishing coming into this evening. That P17 might be a few nerves, but hopefully he can get a really good lap in at the end. That'll be a great moment.
Yeah, that's like the esports equivalent of the Triple Crown, isn't it? AEC Tier S, Tier 1 and Tier 2. That's what everyone hunts for in their esports career. So Stabby's the first man to do it. We'll see if anyone tries to claim the title. But yeah, the first outlaps are starting. And I believe the first car who's gone out very early is Joe Murphy. And he will be getting a tow because Furious is just leaving the pits now.
Holding on to any remaining championship hopes, but I'm sure for him, P2 is the ultimate goal. Round in the final corner then for a Bunga Racing team that are third in the team standings. They scored the same amount of points in Belgium as PSR, outscoring VSR by 13. So they've extended that gap over Visceral Racing to 13 points because they were neck and neck going into the Spa round. Joe Murphy exiting the Retafilio chicane, then heading through Curva Grande. Furious waiting for him a little bit up the road. I believe that's Egger Jr. heading out of the pit lane, so he'll be hoping the German doesn't impede him. A nice exit, I say a nice exit. Egger on the inside the track. I'm not sure if Joe Murphy felt impeded. Poor exit. Hit the curb too hard, but he has backed out, let Egger back through, and it looks like a bit of a fallout in this middle sector.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. He looked like he was on a pretty good lap, didn't invalidate, did a pretty good first sector, but decides that he can do better, clearly. Smokey on a lap as well. He's down in the first sector, and he's made a bit of a mess of turn 4. It's not ideal, but he comes through Lesmo 1 very nicely, uses all the curb and exit, and now at Lesmo 2, using all the curb once again. And now it's just a long straight. The rest of the track really just straights. But you've got the tricky Ascari section, which is where you're going to be fully committed to gain the time. He's on a 0.4 split, which is there and abouts where Levi was. So Smokey, you'd have to say slightly slower than what we expected. We saw him do a really good lap in TTC, but he's not quite on that pace. But coming down to Parabolica, what can he do? It's all about committing the car and just sticking it as quickly as you can, and he gets a very nice exit, goes inside as quickly as possible, and he comes to the line. It's going to be a 1:18.829 PSR on the front row.
PSR on the front row indeed. Egger out there in third place at the moment, trying to interrupt that Rusty heading down now in towards the Ascari, almost 3/10 up on his lap. The champion-elect racing his way through a Ascari, hitting the inside curb and not spinning like he did on his previous tour of the circuit. Parabolica awaits. He'll be going down 2 gears, you'd think. Turning in nice and early, 3 gears in fact, but a short shift up to 6 to stabilise that rear end. Gets out wide to the white line, cuts inside to take the short route to the line to do a 1:18.599. NRX Rusty tops the timesheets by almost 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, incredible lap. Joe Murphy, the championship rival in this regard, on a lap. He's gone again. P7 a 10th.5 up. He's going to maybe get a distant tow from the AlphaTauri ahead. Coming to the line. Can he get in the mix with Rusty? It's going to be a 1:18.741 onto the front row. We've got a fight on our hands.
I like that a lot. Egger not able to improve, but Joran for TV8 on the track. They've gone so well out this evening. Improves, but I think
Valid.
it was invalid. Ogween to start his lap. He held provisional pole for a little bit. He'll get a tow from his teammate, so watch out for that. Levi almost a 10th up at this stage. I think we're still awaiting on Kai, but he's slow. Coming into the Parabolica. Who else are we waiting on? Rev Caterpillar retiring from the session. That's a crash exiting Della Roger. The checkered flag has now fallen with Smokey and Liam Hardman already having taken the checkered flag because they've completed their laps and have pulled back into the pit lane. I think it's an Aston Martin we're waiting on, so it's Elite Risks that's had a slide through the final corner. Race Roller unable to improve as well. Levi up next, 0.2 up. This could be crucial to help his teammates. He goes 4th onto the second row of the grid, and then I believe it's one of Rain or Furious. It's rained across the line in P10. Rusty, that is, pulling into the pit lane. Egger, who's trying to have another crack, not able to do so. Assisting Liam Bowman instead, who crosses the line, improves to 9th, and then it's Furious as the lap times keep on coming here. 12th place he stays, And Stabby is that, crossing the line, going 15th. And I believe we're still waiting on Ogween, which could be a huge lap here, but he pulls into the pit lane. Late despair for TV8, who had such a promising end to the qualifying session, but it didn't quite materialise. But how's that for a front row? NRX Rusty sharing it for the sprint race with his championship rival, Joe Murphy.
And it's the usual candidates again. You've got both NRX, both PSR, and Joe Murphy. He always seems to be there or abouts. And he put it on the front row. But no points for the front row. That's another point to Matthew's tally. So I believe now only 8 points he has to outscore, if that's correct, Joseph.
That's a pole point. So yeah, 8 points.
That is a pole point.
Well done.
Something I want to mention as well, Levi lost a lot of time at Parabolica, and if he did his PB sector from his first lap, he would have been P2. So the fine margins here, but that's the price you have to pay for a mistake. And Levi will be starting on the second row, splitting the PSR cars. That could get juicy.
It could indeed. And make sure you get involved this evening. We've got some, by popular demand, channel point gambling. It's not real money. We're allowed to do it. So make sure you get your predictions in with your channel points. Helps us out.
Can you really do that?
A great bunch. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to do that myself.
Yeah, go on then. It's gambling. I believe you win like
Will
a share
Rusty
back.
win and make it 6 wins out of 9?
I'm on the
Ooh.
AEC account, so I've got infinite channel points, but I can't do it. So I can't gamble.
See, I can't vote here. I can't vote because I'm gonna jinx something. I know me.
Well, the graphic has already been made for the title.
True. It's rigged. It's rigged, guys.
And look at that. Rule Britannia, the top 5. All great British and proud, baby.
Wow. Oh. This is where the action begins, though. We've got 2 races tonight. You're getting double bang for your buck. 9 laps of the sprint, then 27 laps of the race. And Joseph, since you can't use your channel points, I will ask you, what is your prediction for the sprint race?
The sprint race. Oh, I do back Rusty
And you
to hold
cannot
on.
say a double drive-through for NRX. That is banned.
No, I wasn't going to. But I do need to tell the drivers when to ready up.
He hasn't forgot. It's beautiful.
Let's go 28 because there's not much in terms of strategy.
No.
Put
the tyres on and drive.
Let's have a look at the race director actually, so I can see what's going on and remind myself where drivers start if it wants to load. So yeah, Rusty, Joe Murphy, Kai, the top 3. Smokey winning here back in TTC just a couple of weeks ago, covering that one. I think if he can cut through the field, I quite fancy him for a front row start against the odds here. But and then in third, I will go for, to be boring, Joe Murphy, because I don't want this championship wrapped up in the sprint. Because it doesn't quite have the same effect, but it is possible that it can be won in a sprint race, which would be the first time I've seen that happen.
Yes, it would be. I don't really have a prediction because I don't trust my word. I seem to always jinx someone. So let's go with a smoky win.
Wow.
Hopefully my jinx works. No, I'm joking. I think it's Stabby P1, guys.
Yeah, okay. Drivers have got the memo, ready up at 28. See, I didn't forget.
And we are ready.
Mediums all around. It's a sprint. It's a 9-lap sprint to the checkered flag. 3.6 miles times 9. You can do the maths. I believe it come. Well, how much is a real sprint? I'm not going to do the maths now because it's race time. And our first of 2 tonight. Here we go then. All 5 lights about to come on ahead of the drivers for our second sprint race of the season. All 5 lights on. And out! Sam are underway, and NRX Rusty gets a slow start in comparison to Kai, who's trying to go through the middle. Joe Murphy leads in Monza, but it's wheel to wheel between the two championship contenders who are dueling it tonight in the Temple of Speed, and there's contact into the first corner as Rusty clips the back of Joe Murphy. Both get through unscathed. What a start by Levi, jumping PSR Kai off the start, and Egger up one position as well, displacing PSR Smokey.
Yeah, what a start from BRT. Joe Murphy takes the lead, furious, up from 12th to 9th. So the battle between VSR and BRT rages on, but a great start from Joe. He takes the lead. Rusty P2, Levi into P3. I think there might have been a bit of contact in turn 1 between Kai and Levi. Didn't quite catch it, but he is on a charge. Egger up ahead of Smokey. PSR on the back foot, you'd have to say. But Furious is a man on a mission. He's right up behind Liam, and that could be the battle to watch.
It is indeed. I'm leaving the all-important positions gained and lost on the screen because it is a qualifying event, and there are points on the line, of course. 10 for first, all the way down to 1 for 10th, and it doesn't look like we'll see any more moves unless PSR Smokey will send one down the inside at the Parabolica. There goes the Brit, and the German holds on well around the outside. Still wheel to wheel on the exit because Smokey takes the tighter line, and it looks like he's back up into P5, but NRX having a really strong start, and there could be a change for the lead already. As Rusty, will he try and send one down the inside? Yes, he will. It's rare to see it so early in the Italian Grand Prix.
Oh!
You usually wait for DRS, and for Egger and Smokey have had a bit of a moment. It's side by side everywhere, up and down the field, as Joe Murphy still holds the inside through the Curva Grande. And who's going to emerge in front going into turn 4, where the curbs can spit you around? Rusty down the inside. This is sensational.
What a move. Switches back at turn 1. Absolutely beautiful from Rusty. And now he's going to have to try and back him up so Levi can make this an NRX 1-2. Rev and Rain switching positions in P12 and 13. Shazoo Ilton in P10 has dropped from P9. So we've got 2 trains now. We've got the train from 1st to 9th and the train from 10th to the back of the field. But Rusty reclaiming the lead and outscoring Joe by another 1 point. 1 point closer to clinching the title. But Levi, right up behind Joe, has a bit of a moment, and he's got a bit more battery. Definitely more than Smokey in P5. He's only on 40%, but crucially, he did get ahead of Egger. A lot of action here at the start of the sprint.
And we've lost debutant Komodo at the back. That's an Ascari, Liam Hardman. I believe both TIR drivers on the softs, and they've made no progress. In fact, I think they've gone backwards at the start of this race. Komodo certainly has, so a disappointing one for the team not looking to finish last in this championship. Shazoo on 4 points, TIR on 11. And speaking of Shazoo, around the outside goes Elton on Yoran. He's got the inside for the second part of the Rettifilio, but a good exit from Yoran. This train just starting to separate itself. 1 point on the line for P10, and Shazoo would dearly like that.
I don't know if that's actually true, Joseph. I believe it's top 8 score points. Come on, Joseph. Wakey, wakey. Before I get sidetracked, Joe Murphy had a big mistake at turn 4, I believe, and he's lost a lot of time to Rusty. Levi senses an opportunity, but Kai is right behind him, saving that battery up, and hopefully going to make a charge at the end of the race. But Joe Murphy struggling to keep with Matthew. The battery levels are similar. He's just not quite as hooked up as the NRX driver, and Levi definitely going to sense an opportunity going into lap 4.
I've been told top 10, Loveland.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
different.
sorry, the points are different.
Yeah.
Yep, sorry. Slap me on the wrist, I'm waffling.
Absolutely, that's a sackable offence right there,
Yeah.
if I've ever seen one.
That's a major
Disgusting
pay cut.
behaviour. Yeah.
Apologise.
Rusty with the fastest lap. Who else? But on lap 4, DRS now available to the drivers, of course. But I think it's about patience, but not for Rev Caterpillar. For FRT, who's overtaking Shazoo Ilton. Will he force it down the inside? Yes, he will. Ilton leaves the gap. Rev will try the switchback. Doesn't quite pay off, but he'll have another run into turn number 4. But a bit of wheel spin in 4th and 5th gear as he gets up to speed. Rev Caterpillar pulling to the outside. Slightly more distance to go, but the overspeed is enough to see that Ferrari overtake the Haas.
Yeah, he has a bit of a moment, though, rear locking, so opens the door slightly to Ilton. His teammate behind, FRT Rain, got a penalty at the previous corner. I think Ilton might have run into the back of Rev there. Didn't quite catch that one, but close racing between FRT and Shazoo. And look who's behind them in the Red Bull. Stabby just plodding along nicely. Battery isn't looking the best, but he's having fun. And he's just waiting to pick up the pieces. So good drive so far from the FGE driver on his debut in Tier S.
It is indeed. Thoroughly looking forward to see how this one ends, because there's still... Well, that's now P13 on penalties, because FRT Rain has picked up a pretty lazy one there. Liam Hardman down in P18 as well on the soft tyres. That is not looking like a very good strategy at all for them, but it does mean that they can save a set of mediums for the Grand Prix, which might benefit them. Here comes FRT Rain on Shazoo Wilton. It might turn into a Hakkinen Schumacher moment. But between teammates, Rain ahead of Rain ahead of Rev Caterpillar, because Rev Caterpillar was helpless to defend. Rain up into P12. No net loss there for FRT.
Yeah, didn't quite catch that on your stream, but Stabby went for the late audacious move on Rev to try and pick up the pieces and ended up cutting the corner. Now he's under pressure from the SLR driver of Race Roller. It's going to be difficult to hang it around the outside. Can Stabby defend it? You bet he can. Great defending there. Covers the inside. Nice as you like. And Kai, actually, in P4, is the man who looks very quick. Got 80% battery compared to Levi's 50, and he's right up behind him. This could get feisty.
Indeed. Just confirmation of that for you. Sorry I didn't have the telemetry on. The first 4 laps was so enthralling that I just forgot it existed. And that ERS actually does matter, even in sprint races. So, indeed, this is the situation we have on our hands. Rusty just doing the bog standard management job out in front. 50% battery to his name. Joe Murphy with 40%. NRX Levi at about 45. And then, as you say, PSR Kai ready to start deploying here in another fastest lap. But NRX Levi also simultaneously gaining on Joe Murphy. This is where we get the concertina effect into turn 1. And you run the risk of a collision.
Yeah, Levi's in a difficult situation. He doesn't know whether to go for the move forward or keep an eye on his mirrors, because Kai is right up behind him, but he is right behind Joe with a tiny bit more ERS. But Kai, definitely the man to watch, because he is very good on ERS. Someone who just got back into the DRS train, by the way, is TV8 Duran. They've all got FRA tags still.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. The curse is back. I start talking about someone doing well and they get a penalty. It's every week. Well, Duran was doing well. He's got a penalty, but it won't change his finishing position at the moment.
Yeah, fortunately, FRT Rain behind him 3 seconds with a 3-second penalty. So he should be safe, but it does mean that will limit his progress going forward. Is Furious looking like he's going to make a move? He's looked like he wants to get past Liam Bowman for the entirety of this race, but it's just not quite happened for him as the camera emerges from the trees and we get the gorgeous helicopter shot of what is the largest city park in Europe. I've fact dropped in the middle of a sprint race.
Beautiful. There's your request to fact if we missed any.
Yep.
Kai's going for a move, by the way. He's burning all his battery, trying to force Levi to go aggressive on Joe. And he's done exactly that, because Joe and Levi now very low on ERS compared to Kai. Rusty out front got a bit in reserve. Maybe he'll try and drop Joe, but Kai just can't really get close enough. This is the problem with Monza. Such a DRS train throughout the race. And even if you are the quicker driver, it's hard to make a move.
There are 63 of you tuning in right now, and well, our records went because of the success of the Tier 2 and Tier 1 qualifiers this week, but the support for this championship fight and these drivers in general is incredible, and everything that surrounds League Racing at the moment. The breaking news just in that, you know, Ron Har's been given another penalty and the world's going mad again and we're all going to die in the next 2 years because of climate change. Whatever it might be, we have a great positive atmosphere around AEC right now, and it is great to see all 3 levels as part of the tournament come together in great ways.
Yeah, I mean, I believe you'd have to say it's probably the biggest Xbox-specific tournament. I feel like a lot of tournaments have decided cross-platform is the way to go, but AEC sticking with their roots on Xbox. And,
that's a rain spin.
Yeah, it's paid off, and that is a rain spin. You're right. Oh, Joe Murphy! Joe Murphy's nearly rear-ended. Rusty and Levi's made the move. Joe has thrown it away. He's gone deep at turn 1, and he's had to take avoiding action, and that's opened the door right to Levi. And now Joe Murphy under pressure from Kai, who's deciding to sit back. but that is a huge mistake from Joe, and another 2 points lost now in the championship.
I almost jumped out of my seat in sheer
Sorry.
shock. Joe Murphy. Wow, that is a big mistake to make. It looked like he had the front row secure, but has just handed it straight to NRX. And PSR will not be delighted because he is their roadblock now in this championship fight. Fortunately, not too many points scored in these sprints, and the 1 point difference between every position means that the damage won't be done if it stays like this. But they'd like to out-qualify him just so they don't have the same issue in the race, and so they can get amongst the NRX boys from the start of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, but Joe is looking for revenge. He's right up behind Levi, but Levi gets a very good exit out of the final corner. Rusty's going to tuck Levi in behind him and just try and pull him along with the slipstream. But yeah, a crucial mistake from Joe. He was outscoring VSR in this sprint, I believe, but I don't think he will be anymore. So that battle, not looking too great for BRT. Smokey and Kai make the swap. Smokey with slightly more ERS. Maybe they think he can make a charge on Joe, but we're on to the final lap of the sprint. Joseph, take us away.
And Rev Caterpillar, there's a collision as Shazoo Ilton ghosting at the first corner, not because he's gone missing in a football sense, it's because, well, clearly something has happened, making him lose a position there to Rev Caterpillar, and almost Elite Risks here is going to have to go the long way round at the Della Roger chicane. He's pinched Shazoo Ilton. Elite Risks has to go off the track, and in doing so, Shazoo Ilton keeps the position. That looked like a right pinch on the inside. However, NRX Rusty making his way down now into Ascari, and if this stays as it is, he only needs to outscore Joe Murphy by 6 points in the Grand Prix. And if these results were to stand and carry over into the Grand Prix, it'd be 9 points he'd have over him. So this is about as good as a starting position and a sprint race as you could have got for NRX Rusty, who rounds the final corner, sees the checkered flag, and leads home, a crucial NRX 1-2 ahead of Joe Murphy, the PSR duo, Egger in P6, Ogween, Liam Bowman, Furious, and Yoran rounding out our top 10 and our point scorers from 10 points to P1 to 1 point for P10. And that was some sprint race, and the polar opposite to the wet one we had at Silverstone.
Yeah, I was about to say, what a change for NRX, going from that double drive-through jump start to a 1-2 in the next sprint. Very good turnaround for NRX. Furious in P9, by the way, missed out on P8 by under a tenth of a second to VSR Bowman. So that battle definitely heating up. BRT really exceeding expectations in P3, and that will definitely be another battle to watch for in the race.
Indeed. And confirmation of our results. Ignore those points, as always. We'll get the timings up for you. There they are. And it's still British dominance. A top 5 again. This is patriotism, and the king gets crowned soon. Bank holiday and all that. This deserves a bank holiday.
Yeah. Sorry, Joseph, I was just reading the chat. So we've got, I'm not sure if you caught what happened with Ilton and Rev, but judging off Ilton's ... he's just sent in the chat, I don't think he's very happy. So we'll have to check. That is his debut tonight as well, I believe, for Ilton and Book. So not the greatest way to kick things off for Shazoo. They'll be looking for a fight back in the race.
We'll ready up at 45, because that's a nice...
Yes.
That's a nice time to get chat predictions, to get facts, bets. We do it all in AEC. Accents. If there's a safety car, we'll have to do a few accents.
Without getting cancelled.
Without getting cancelled.
If you've got any suggestions,
driver accents.
Yes.
I
can do a good Levi accent. So
yeah,
I've
go
got
on then.
that in my
Do it
locker.
now.
No, not yet.
Oh,
we saved
okay.
that.
Reserve it for the safety car that might not happen.
Yes. Although I'm gambling on one happening. But if it doesn't, you have to wait till next week. That's the price you pay.
Okay, deal. we've settled on that. What have I got to talk about then? Monza. Well, Rusty might be in luck tonight, as 12 World Championships have been settled here in the past. Many years ago when there was about 3 races, but they all count the same. And it could be Rusty to add his name to the history book and the AEC Hall of Fame.
Yeah, absolutely. Just 7 points now. 7 points in it. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there is 7 points between P1 and P2. So the fight would go on if they do finish 1-2. But yeah, judging off Joe's position, it's going to be tough, with Levi getting pulled along by the DRS. But I'm up for it. We've got 2 NRX, 1 BRT and 2 PSR, with VSR just behind.
Another request a fact from Axe. There's been 8 maiden winners here in Monza, and the most recent one was Pierre Gasly. There you go.
Will we see another tonight?
Be hard to stop Rusty. It'd be a 6th win of the season. There'd be nothing bloody maiden about that. Anyway, it's 45. I want people to press A.
Come on, guys. Hey.
Come on.
Or, just sit on the grid, have a sip of water, whatever you want. No worries. La 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 la. Well, the weather in Italy is very nice, as you can see. Clearly, the drivers are mesmerised by the weather because they do not want to ready up. So we'll let them gaze at the sun. But come on,
Definitely
guys.
didn't script it clear. But this is about as best you could have got. 3 clear sessions.
That is true. A beautiful day for some F1 action. I've said ready up again.
There we go. Somebody's hit the big green button on the controller. Or wheel. I forgot people have wheels, so I can't relate.
No, I can't either. Us controller noobs.
Yep.
Oh well. Here we go.
Here we go indeed. And at the Temple of Speed, there is a championship on the line. It's NRX Rusty, joined by his teammate Levi on the front row for their 8th appearance together in AEC Tier S. As all 5 lights are on now, ahead of the drivers. And out! Sam runs away for the 2nd time this evening, and Rusty gets a better start than he did in the sprint race. And Joe Murphy has a very similar start, if not better, from 3rd to 2nd. But Levi has dropped all the way down to 5th from the front row. An absolute disaster for the NRX man as he fends Kai off around the outside. That's some move if he can pull it off. He'll have the inside into the Curva Grande. Fairly clean down the field. I say that. That's Shazoo Book in the wall.
Yeah, Smokey actually tapped Kai at turn 2, and that let Levi get through. So a bit of PSR collision there, and there is a VSC. But yeah, Levi got an absolutely terrible start. I was on board with Smokey as the lights went out, and he just bogged down, did not get the revs how he wanted to, and it's opened the door for Joe Murphy to be back up into P2. And Levi, after all that hard work in the sprint, is exactly where he started in qualifying. So unlucky for Levi, but he has consolidated a position from Smokey's error.
Yeah, Shazoo Book was the one around on the exit of turn 2, and for the team only on 4 points in this championship, that will not help their cause. That's all that needs to be said about that one. Only a virtual safety car, so that neutralises the pack, and we should get racing, I'd assume, on the exit of this corner, because we've almost had a full lap in these virtual safety car positions, and Kai is looking aggressive off this restart as they put pedal to the metal. We're still not green, but overtake is being used.
Please go green. What's going on?
Might just have a permanent virtual safety car. Are they racing? They're hitting each other.
Yeah, here we go. Now we're green. Levi's got an absolutely shocking start. And I don't know what's going on there, but Kai is on his outside. Oh, will they make contact into the tricky turn 4? You'd have to say it's Kai's corner, but if Levi can get enough alongside, he will keep the position. He's going to be run out of road completely. Takes over the curb, and Ooh, the stewards will be looking at it as Kai actually defends from Egger, who goes up the inside. He's going to force Kai the long way round. Gives him enough room. Very clean racing. And now they're going to go side by side through the second leg, but Kai goes wide. Is that going to open the door to Liam Bowman in P7? What's happened?
They're bump drafting his teammate. Liam Bowman boxed in between Egger Jr. and PSR Kai, and Egger Jr. is the man that comes out on top. Goodness gracious me, I thought they were racing under the virtual safety car. That's really wide for TVA Ogween, but he slots in where he was in P8, and no moves being made into the Parabolica unless Rev Caterpillar has something to answer for. Backs out right at the death. God blimey, as Tom Nepp says in the live chat.
Saw some NASCAR racing going on there, getting a bump draft down the straight into Ascari, and Egger gets the position. Another great race so far from Egger in P5, and now we've got DRS, but he is struggling to keep in that top 4 train, so he's going to need a clean lap, and it's not started off great. He's had a bit of a twitch on the exit of turn 2, but he's burning all of his battery to try and get back into the DRS.
Absolutely. It looks like it's died down for the moment, but the DRS enabled on this lap. It was only a virtual safety car, so we still have the lap 3 schedule as usual. But positions gained and lost on the opening lap. Gains for Joe Murphy, Smokey, Egger and Liam Bowman both up 1, crucially for VSR as they chase down BRT in the team's championship. 13 points they trail. Elite Risks up 1, Rain up 1, Stabby up 1 up into P15. Liam Hardman and Komodo for TIR up 1 from their 18th and 19th place start, but still they've not really gone anywhere. Komodo's been into the pit lane on debut.
Yeah, not a great start for Komodo on his debut, as you said. Joe Murphy, you'd have to say he's looking very comfortable. He's got a full battery to deploy, and it looks much more comfortable than he did in the sprint race. So maybe the higher fuel, the harder tyres, suiting his driving style more, because he is putting the pressure on. 90% to Rusty 70. He could be the man on a charge as we enter lap 4. Joe in P2, just 4 tenths off of the lead.
Wouldn't it be some story if Joe Murphy was to deny Rusty the title tonight and take his maiden victory here at Monza? I think you'd have to say it would just go straight on to the next round, where the gap he'd have to overturn is simply ridiculous. And
whoa. Did you see that?
Whoa. I saw that. I thought I saw something in the corner of my eye. I had a weird camera angle.
Yeah, on my screen, Rusty just didn't turn. And he was going to go straight into the wall, and I absolutely shit myself.
I also shat myself.
We carry on. I think that was just a bit of a lag spike. Didn't affect any drivers behind, thankfully. So we'll just carry on, and I'll clean my pants.
Yeah, go and get a new pair after that one. Clearly some lag issues for NRX Rusty. I think he needs that talk replacing. Can you lend him a £5 and upgrade that bill?
Oh, I actually, Joseph, I can't actually see the race right now. I'm on the results screen. Don't really.
You've not pressed the race director, have you? Leave and rejoin. It should be all right.
Right. See, I'm not aware of these commentary problems.
The hacks. Not the hacks, obviously, but the glitches.
It's not a good hack if it is one.
No. Oh no, where has Loveland gone? Oh, what a shame. There's your invite.
Thanks. But we're on lap 5.
We're on lap 5, and it's a train from first all the way down to P16, but will anybody dare to make the move? Rain has a look at Lesmo 1 on Race Roller. Nothing being pulled off there. Bit of a slower start, and probably good for my heart rate, my voice, my blood pressure, everything in between.
Yeah. Can't really comment on much at the moment, Joseph, as I am living 5 seconds in the past. But Joe Murphy, very close to Rusty once again. Still got a full battery at hand. Not sure what Rusty is on, but he's looking pretty strong. And I think this race is all going to come down to strategy, whether people want to go for the overcut, whether they want to go for the undercut. and who pulls the trigger first. So it'll be very interesting as we enter lap 6.
The undercut will be really powerful if you can find yourself a gap in the pack. And the way it looks right now is that you could pit and have a track to yourself because of how close the train is, but it's only if it stays that way for another half a dozen laps as we move towards the pit stop phase. But Joe Murphy has had a really good first sector, using the DRS and slipstream to his advantage, closing that gap to inwards of about 0.3 of a second. We're just waiting, and a reminder for you this evening: Rusty now only needs 6 points over Joe Murphy to clinch the title this evening.
Yep, and as looking like Rusty at the moment, going to be under pressure from Joe at some point. He's just waiting for the right opportunity. Doesn't want to make a move early, but if he waits too long, Smokey is going to pounce. So a very tough situation for Smokey. He nearly goes wide, but just about keeps it in the limits. The top 3 seem to be clear of the rest of the field, judging off the ERS. Everyone below the top 3 seem to have considerably lower than the front 3, as we've got a move possibly from Kai, who is right up behind Egger. He's got the ERS advantage and he's burning everything. He wants to take the fight to Levi in P4, and now coming down the straight, DRS open. He's going to try his best. Sits in the slipstream, burns every single bit of battery. He's going to need a Daniel Ricciardo lunge. He looks for it, but doesn't commit.
Those McLaren colours have tasted victory around Monza, of course, back in 2021, ending a drought of 8 years? 9 years? Oh, God, my request of fact knowledge has gone. But PSR Kai used everything there, and Egger still in a position where he can just about defend without losing that straight line speed advantage when you dip below 10% ERS. Finn saying 9 years. That would have been Hamilton 2012, probably. Greenhorn requesting a fact. What else have I got? Probably nothing. That sounded like a spin, but I think it was just somebody's engine nulling. What do you call it?
Yeah, I think
Stalling.
so. I also believe McLaren's win before Ricciardo was Jenson Button at Brazil, if I remember correctly.
Oh, no.
What a way to end the season. We've got some ASMR Tom. No Tom tonight, so you've wasted your money, unfortunately.
I'll get you a fat greenhorn.
Yeah, come on, Joseph.
I've gone through too many.
Yeah, really overusing the points at this point. Oh, Joe Murphy, by the way, very close to Rusty. 2 tenths off. Is he going to go for the move? No, just biding his time. Is he going to send Rusty deep? No. Rusty hits the apex, maybe a bit deep, but nothing to worry about. Ogween, by the way, P8. The cars ahead have 30%, 40%, 30% and 30% respectively. Ogween could make a charge in the pit stop phase.
How exciting for a driver who had provisional pole at some point in the qualifying session. If we changed the game to hot tubs, we'd get a few hundred viewers. I mean, we would.
Yeah. I would not pay to see that one.
No. AEC OnlyFans. You get all of the ASMR and OnlyFans.
God. The pinnacle of esports, AEC, isn't it?
Better than that
streams
PSGL bollocks last night.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Joseph, mate, get your speedos out. I'll buy the top. Oh God.
We are entrepreneurs around here. We invest for the greater good of the tournament. Anyway, let's see what PSR Kai's got in him. He's tried once already. He's deploying early once again. And will Egger be hopeless to defend? No, he isn't, because likewise, he is also deploying. And Kai, even at 220 miles per hour, even at 80% full throttle around this 3.6 mile circuit, fact drop, he's not able to get through.
Yep. Just struggling to really make the move, but he's going to try and catch Egger off guard. He's set him up for turn 4. He's going to have to send it to the inside if you want any realistic chance of going for the move. He's going to send it. It's late. Will they make contact?
Oh!
Yes, they do. Kai's round, and he's driven into the wall trying to spin it round. I have to say, trying to be non-biased, but the move wasn't really on. Bit of a half-hearted lunge, and Kai down to P16. NRX looking good for the championship hopes.
Looking very, very good, and I do agree with you. That was all on PSI Kai, and what a shame for, as I've said probably twice or three times already this evening, the world record holder around Monza, but that means nothing when it comes to racecraft, and that got a little bit too desperate.
Yeah, just a bit. FRT Rain, by the way. We've did a big spin ahead of this. Race Roller's just spun on the exit of Ascari. I was going to say Rain's going for the move on Elite Risks. And Stabby into P13. He's scoring 2 points as it stands. And he's looking quite feisty. He's right behind the duo of Risks and Rain. Can we see Stabby go for the move into turn 1?
It could be some night for FGE and their fan favourite Stabby, who's scarce on ERS, but Elite Risks with no DRS, overtaken by FRT Rain, who we last saw, I believe, back at Hungary, and he made the league racing world wow in awe of his move at the chicane there. Another move going into a chicane. 3 of them around this circuit. Not hard. But Yoran as well for TV8. Furious also about to drop out of this ERS train, and that could prove pivotal for BRT, because of course Edgar and Liam Bowman trying to bring VSR back into contention for that 3rd place spot in the championship. 8 tenths is the gap. I think Furious has just about held on here.
Yeah, very, very. I mean, it seems like it's calmed down a bit up the front. No one really going for moves. Everyone seems to be saving their battery. Although I say that, I just saw Smokey burning out of Ascari. Is this his time to get a move on and take the fight to NRX? He's seen Kai at the back of the field, and now he thinks, yeah, it's time to get a move on. Joe Murphy out the final corner, gets a pretty nice run. Smokey burning on the exit, but not close enough. And we're back into the saving phase, because it's all about the exit out the final corner, as Ogween going for the move on Liam, switches to the outside. Can he get the move done? He's going to have to make him brake late. He does, but he gets it slowed down very nicely, you have to say. And a failed overtake for TVA Ogween.
Good defending by Liam Bowman, the Scotsman,
oh my God.
who's...
Sorry, Stabby's nearly done the best switchback of 2023. He's right behind Elite Risk. He's taking the fight. He's getting 2 points, but he wants more. He's nearly got him on the exit of turn 2. Stabby's not too bad, you know. I was expecting worse. He's keeping it on the track. And Elite Risk, he's not. Stabby into P12.
An absolute gift of an overtake, but he won't complain 1 minute. And Komodo's retired on the track. His car is moving, so he's pressed the retire button. I don't think it'll be a safety car. On debut, getting a bit too trigger happy there, and that's not the sort of thing you can just do, unfortunately. I believe his car will pull over in good time, not to hold up or cause yellow... well, it will definitely cause yellow flags for the leaders. So, Joe Murphy, even if he wanted to, won't be able to make a move into the first corner. And it doesn't look like anybody will anyway. That is now cleared, so they're more than welcome to. But just too far apart on this occasion.
Yeah, I think everyone at the front has started to push a lot more, because we're getting closer to the pit stops and everyone is burning out of turn 2. So we're definitely getting closer to that stage, and we'll have to see who is the first for the undercut. I believe the pit stop sequence in TTC was lap 13 the undercut started. So 1 more lap and we should see some people gamble on the mediums, but it'll be quite a hard task if they go this lap.
Absolutely. Watching PSR Smokey, who would quite fancy P2 right now, and having seen that PSR Kai spin, I think he might have got away without damage. He did tap the wall as he tried to apply a bit of throttle just to keep the car moving. Liam Bowman with a crucial penalty. He's now dropped out of that 1 second window, and I don't think he's got the ERS. Maybe I'm proved wrong, actually. He does have the ERS just to sneak back in with a 9/10 gap. Back to those in front though. Smokey 2 tenths, 3 tenths, but not using his ERS in the same way Kai did. I just think there'll be a bit more patience now that they've had 1 car down the order.
Yeah, lucky for Liam, he's got Egger ahead of him, so Egger just lifted off a bit, got Liam the DRS, and they remain 5-6. We do have someone gambling on lap 12. That is very, very early. FRT Rain, not really got much to lose. He was down in P12 with his P11, sorry, with his teammate Rev, and they're going to try and get to the end on a set of mediums. But if I'm a betting man, I say people at the front will start to pit this lap. So keep an eye on the pit lane.
Request a Brett. Odds on Rusty pitting this lap. No. Right. He might cover off the undercut from those behind him. Force those considering it on this lap into something a little different. We'll keep our eyes peeled as they exit Ascari for the 13th time in this race and the 22nd time in race conditions tonight. The Parabolica.
Yep.
No real obvious sign yet. That was a slide. That wasn't lag. That was definitely a slide. He feigns coming into the pit lane. Smokey doesn't. Levi doesn't. Liam Bowman doesn't.
I thought Rusty was gone there. The rear snapped out very aggressively, but he's held it nicely. And Smokey will be the first driver, or the lead driver, on the undercut. So it's going to be close, but if he can pull this off, he's going to be ahead of Levi, and he could jump Rusty. So this could be a very good strategy from PSR. But Rusty, Joe Murphy, now the people to watch, they're going to have to burn everything on this outlap. Because as you said earlier, the undercut round here, very, very powerful.
You lose around 19.5 seconds in the pit lane. PSR Smokey has a nice little gap of clean air, which he can start to warm up his tyres and push into. He's clear of Levi by a couple of tenths when it comes to that DRS, and Stabby, ladies and gentlemen, is P9 on the racetrack.
Can't believe it. He got gifted the position again by Elite Risks, who made a mistake at turn 4, but yeah, he's keeping his nose clean. He hasn't got any damage, hasn't got any penalties. He's doing a very nice race, you have to say, so fair play to Stabby. But onto the top of the field, Rusty and Joe Murphy at the Parabolica. They're going to have to pit this lap. If you go any longer, you are 100% going to get undercut. Here goes Rusty. He needs to get it slowed down. No silly penalties here, and he does very nicely. Joe Murphy in as well. Egger in. Ogween stays out. Egger gets a 5-second penalty. That is not good for their battle with BRT.
Oh, for God. Choco!
Ooh. Deary me.
Whatever. Rusty emerging the pit lane. Joe Murphy also exiting the pit lane. And we're watching PSR Smokey in all of this. These two will have to get their tyres warmed up. And that could be crossing the white line there for Joe Murphy. He's got to be careful. But PSR Smokey makes the undercut work. That is Race Roller, who's got around and will park his Aston Martin in the middle of Smokey and Joe Murphy. So this has worked out perfectly for Smokey, and the battle that they had in TTC might well resume in AEC.
Yeah, very good strategy from PSR, and there is the undercut proving its power. He's gone from P3 to now battling with the net race leader, and Joe Murphy now having to push his socks off. He's had Race Roller in the way, and now he's burning everything to try and get back in the DRS of Smokey and Rusty, who are also pushing everything they've got. Levi also going for the move now on Race Roller. He's happy to just let him go past, not burning any ERS. But he might actually hold this on the inside of Ascari. No, lets him go. So sensible driving from Race Roller. Doesn't want to get involved in the action. Ogween is now into the pits and furious. We saw him do that. Well, you didn't, but I saw him. He was doing this in big twos, just staying out, hoping for a safety car. And he's doing the same thing again.
I believe I remember that one. And that is FRT Rain, who has gone around, I believe. So that's another position for Stabby. Smokey with the fastest lap of this race on those fresh medium tyres. He's actually turned off the DRS, as it just looks like he's entering a management phase.
Yep.
Trying to charge up that ERS and go for it late on in this one. And by the way, a shout out to Choco, because of the effort he's gone through to make a Joseph F1 fan account, because it's clearly a fan account, and joining the lobby this evening. That is commitment.
I must have missed that. I was wondering why you screamed Choco.
Yep.
But yeah, I didn't quite catch what the account was called. But yeah, well done, Choco. Good for you. Yeah, but as you said, management phase now, because especially Levi and Joe, they have no ERS to play with. I mean, 10% between the two of them. They're going to struggle big time to keep up with Rusty and Smokey, who I believe are also managing. So might be a bit of a boring phase at the moment. Egger going for the move on Race Roller. Not really for position. Race Roller sensibly just backing off early, and Egger gets through into P7. But yeah, race is probably going to die down a bit, but it will all come alive at the end.
It will indeed. Egger with that very clumsy 5-second time penalty, you have to admit. Liam Bowman with a track limits penalty as well. So VSR, who were ticking along nicely, now face punishment towards the end, and TV8 could well capitalise on this. They're 110 points behind VSR in the championship, but, you know, never say never, as wheel to wheel now between Liam Bowman and Race Roller, who is just trying to stay out there now, Race Roller, and wait for that safety car or perfect pit window. And up into P8 goes Liam Bowman. That'll be net P6 on the road. But can they start extending that gap? Because obviously Joran not in the DRS of this stage, but I think Race Roller will tow him along. And all of a sudden they'll be facing that penalty pressure again.
Yeah, just a bit further up, crucially, we've got a bit of a situation here, Joseph. Have a look who's P2, and have a look who's P3 and 4.
Ah, yes, Oliver Crisp. Hello, mate. This
might get a bit... Well, I don't know. I don't want to say anything, but we might see some tactics coming out here, and I'm a bit worried, to be honest. But, you know, we've seen them do it before, so this is no surprise. But let's see. Kai is going to do a good hold-up job. Look at his battery. He's got it all saved up. He knows what the goal is here. He needs to get Smokey to win this race.
Well, if anybody watched PSGL last night, you will know all about holding up. You will know all about cutting corners deliberately. You will know all about penalties a day after the race and an entire Twitter video to announce it. We're not having that. Actually, we are. Smokey has a little look down the inside, forces Rusty ever so slightly wide as he looks to defend, but it looks like he's on the move already.
Yeah, he wants to get this out the way. I think what they're going to try and do, Smokey's going to try and get past Rusty, and Kai's going to pull him along with DRS, surely. Or he's going to let Smokey through and then hold up Rusty. There's a lot of tactics they can pull here, but it all kind of relies on Smokey getting the position on Matthew, or Rusty, I should say. And the first attempt, he's failed. So, yeah, going to get a second bite of the cherry come the next lap, but a few laps' time on them old hards, Kai is going to actually fall into this DRS train. So, yeah, as I said, it's going to heat up towards the end of this one.
It is indeed, and Joran has cleared Race Roller, exiting Lesmo 2, and on the run down into Ascari. Time is going to be running out on those hard tyres. Ogween is next up behind him. We pit a little bit later. Stabby still in P13. Penalty to Elite Risks behind him. That's 2 points for FG and their lone driver this evening. And if it was to stay that way, I'd consider it a driver of the day performance.
Yeah, for sure. And he's going to gain a position with Race Roller, who now dives into the pit lane. And if Kai and Furious stay out any longer, maybe Stabby can jump them as well. So Stabby on for a possible P10 if everything goes his way. But we'll have to see come the end of the race. But Rusty will catch Kai this lap. He gained a 1.5 seconds last lap, and he is a 1.5 seconds behind PSR Kai. So he's definitely going to catch him at the end of this lap. And he needs to try and catch him in the final corner so he gets a good run down the main straight. So I think lap 20 is going to be a crucial lap for this race.
Indeed, Joe Murphy just trying to fight and get back in. He wants this fight to be his. He wants to stop Rusty from winning the championship this evening. As it stands, NRX Rusty is well over the line as champion. And he'll have a bigger smile on his face, you'd assume, if Joe Murphy stays 1 second away from the back of Smokey. And it looks like on the run down to Parabolica that has occurred. But, and there's a big but, PSR Kai, and he's had a slide coming out of the final corner, a very convenient slide, as he now looks to influence this battle in the championship.
Yeah, so this is what I mean. Lap 20 is going to be the crucial lap because now Rusty is in DRS and he just needs to keep his head cool. He's now in a PSR sandwich. Levi actually going for the move on Joe. What a move. Sends it up the inside. He's into P5, but I think we've got more important things. A really good move, but we're going to have to go to this battle for P2 and next P1 because Kai is the leader of this train and his teammate Smokey is the car filling the PSR sandwich. And Kai just a bit slow through turn 4. Rusty, he's going to go for it already. Be careful. He's got to pick his move right. Is he going to go for the switchback? No, he's not. He's just going to have to stick in, but he needs to make sure that Smokey doesn't get a good run. And you'd have to say this is probably the best opportunity he's going to get.
It looks like Kai might be helpless here, but he squeezes Rusty right to the Armco on the right-hand side. And Kai lets Smokey through as well. The fight resumes then. A small hold-up, a small obstacle in the way of NRX Rusty, but he clears him in a sensible manner.
Yep.
And that is Kai slowing down. In fact, he's going to let everybody through here, just so he isn't interfering. And I would have thought, there was a small slide.
I'm not sure. It looked like he just... I don't want to say he brake checked Liam, but he went very slowly and, yeah, Liam hit the rear of him. So you said he kept out of trouble. He didn't fancy giving Liam a easy run through, but he's let him go into turn 1. And, battle between Levi and Joe. Levi's a massive snap, and Joe is going to go for the move through the Curva Grande.
He is indeed, and Joe Murphy will try and fight this one back. Levi flashing away as they run down now into the Della Roger chicane. Levi just trying to stick in the middle of the track and does a good job to defend as they attack that inside curve, which obviously does have RNG implications. Please don't tell me that's Stabby!
He's had a moment at turn 2 and he's lost the position to the FRT drivers. I'm not sure if there was a collision, but I just saw him tumbling down the timing tower. He is still in the points, so Stabby fans can chill out, but not as many as he was originally scoring.
P13 still on the cards with that 3-second penalty, and will Joe Murphy try and fight back on Levi here? This is a huge result for NRX in this championship. The gap at the moment, currently 18 points. NRX lead PSR in this championship. Should it continue, well, that tally will be maybe in the 30s or 40s. I'm not doing the maths right now because this battle is well and truly on our hands. And again, Levi flashing away down the start-finish straight. Joe Murphy to the right-hand side as he looks to at least finish on the podium this evening. And what an achievement it would be to pick up yet another podium this season.
Yep, very consistent driver. Well, actually, Levi actually had a shaky start to the season, if I remember correctly, but he's found his form again. Egger actually had a massive rear locking moment into turn 1. I think the stream on your end just cut away from it. But I think Egger looking quite quick at the moment. He's got more battery than Levi, who just needs to start saving. But look at Joe. Joe has absolutely taken off up the road, and Levi's going to have to try and hang with him. Because Joe maybe thinks he has the pace to get in the top 2, but it'll be very difficult. Just trying to drop Levi and get out of danger for the final 5 laps.
It would be Joe Murphy's 3rd podium finish of the season, backing up his P2 in Saudi Arabia and P2 in Belgium. Levi also with 2 podium finishes to his name, both 2nd place finishes as well. These coming in Austria and in Hungary. So there's a great incentive for both of these drivers to pick up their 3rd podium of the season, but only one can do it. Egger and Liam Bowman also in this train, but the TV8 duo currently finishing P5 and P6 due to these penalties. Penalty to Stabby as well. He won't finish P12 as it stands because he's, I believe, level on penalties with FRT Rain. He'd have to get the move done on track, and there might be a switch for TV8 into the first corner. No, there isn't. Levi unable to make a move either.
Yeah, they kind of need to switch the TV8 drivers around because Duran has 10% more, so possibly the only driver that can really make any inroads. But yeah, as you said, the penalties for VSR are going to promote TV8 to 5th and 6th, which I'm not sure if I can back this up with stats, but that's got to be TV8's best finish of the season of 5 and 6. So very good result if they can keep this up. Levi looking very close to the back of Joe. Smokey still in the back of Rusty. A lot of battles brewing up, but not really fluctuating yet. So we've definitely got a lot to look forward to for the last laps, and I can sense quite a lot of screaming is about to happen.
Oh, thanks. No, I don't think my voice can do it. I had a cough sweet before we started. to keep me going. It's the ritual. And just to back up what you said, it would be TV8's best result of the season. They would score, I believe, 30 points, which beats their Austria total of 24. So you were right on that one. Any moves into the first corner. Levi, will he go for it? He's started to charge up his battery again. He closes his DRS. He's not looking to make the move into the first corner. Furious with the fastest lap. He is down there in P9. So he's actually not come out in too much of a bad position. But those 6.6 seconds up the road is the next car. But a fastest lap point that he's taken away from, I believe it was Smokey.
Yep, taking a point away from PSR, third in the standings versus second. Liam's actually swapped with Egger for P5, which is quite an odd decision, as Egger has 30% more, but obviously with that 5-second penalty, he's going to be finishing behind anyway. So are VSR possibly going to try and hold up TVA and get a 3-second gap for Liam? It could be a good strategy. They've got the gap between P8, P9, with Furious being that far behind, so could be a good strategy from VSR just to hold up the Valor drivers and possibly get Liam that P5 that he is currently holding.
Yeah, we'll soon see. But if anybody has checked Egger's Twitter, you'll know how his practice slipstreaming went with Liam Bowman. That is a very good watch, and he's got to try and park his car on the apex somehow without realising it's a practice lobby. So we'll soon see how that one goes. However, still no moves to be made. We've got 3 laps to go in this Italian Grand Prix. Levi gaining and gaining, but he lifts off, brakes nice and early, and almost not early enough. Had to almost lock his front tyres there to get that Williams slowed down.
Yeah, that's why I winced a bit, because Liam broke very late and Levi had to lift off the brake to make sure Liam didn't go into the back of him. So a bit tight into turn 1, but Liam actually looking pretty quick at the moment. So that penalty might come back to haunt him. Egger not really holding up TV8, but now he's going defensive into a corner you wouldn't really expect to go defensive to. So the backing up is definitely starting, and Liam possibly getting that P5 that he so wants.
Yeah, he'll want to have DRS for the 1.1 kilometre long start finish straight, at least into the final lap. And then he can start parking his car in places where it really shouldn't go and charge up that battery, and to defend down the straights without DRS, where the pure slipstream in operation here for TVA Ogween. As he looks right, he looks left, he'll try and go the long way round at Parabolica, maybe turn it into a switchback. Has Egger managed to keep in DRS? It doesn't look like he has, so he'll have to defend purely on his own accord. Ogween to the left-hand side. His DRS will give him about 20 kilometres an hour in extra speed, and Egger will have to dive it down the inside if he fancies it. No, he doesn't. Joran having a little look as well. That's not quite came off, as Smokey leading us away.
I was about to say, we've missed something, just a tiny bit important. Smokey moved ahead of Rusty, turn 1. But crucially, Rusty has a slight ERS advantage. We've got 1 lap of this race left. Joe Murphy tried to drop Levi, used all his ERS, and now he hasn't dropped him. So Levi going to be the man on the move. Egger gets back past Ogween, by the way, so the backing up continues. But Rusty right on the back of Smokey, and the shouting now begins because Rusty is right up behind Smokey. He's surely not going to go for a move now. He's going to wait till the main straight. I lied. He's going for the move now into Ascari. Gets the move done, cuts back to the line, and now it's all going to be looking in the mirrors. He's got a slight ERS advantage, but it's not that much. Will Smokey go for the move? I think we might see a few games here. So hopefully no brake checking, but a few DRS games possibly coming into play. Nope, Rusty's firming it. And we go on to our final lap of our second race here tonight. Smokey P2, Rusty P1. Joseph, take it away.
Tom Nepper's paused Coronation Street. PSR Smokey has pressed play on a final lap overtake, which he pulled off in identical fashion in the top tier championship. But Rusty goes back up the inside. He's hit him!
No,
He's hit him! No!
He's letting him go. He's letting him go.
Oh, my
Rusty
word.
recognises his error. He's going to let him go. Smokey's not going, though. I'm not sure what's going on. Bit of Saudi Arabia action. So Rusty recognises his mistake. I'm not sure what the stewards will think. I mean, he's given the position back. But, yeah, they'll definitely probably report that. Coming on to the last lap, a collision between Rusty and Smokey. This is going to be controversial, whatever the result is. So yeah, Rusty with the ERS advantage. We've got 2 straights left, but only this one has DRS. Well, he's going to have to get the move done cleanly, but is it going to be too late? He's flashing ahead. Rusty going to go for the move. He goes to the outside. He's going to have to hang it around the outside of Ascari. Don't turn in. He's gone wide. Smokey takes the lead again.
Oh, no! He spun! Oh my God! He spun! No championship tonight for NRX Rusty! Oh my word!
Oh, Joe Murphy's been hit by Liam. Liam's going to come home in P3, but Joe Murphy will get him on penalties. What a crazy end to the race. Oh my God.
I'm retiring.
In all of this, I can't believe it. Smokey is your race winner. Levi P2 and Joe Murphy P3.
I'm retiring.
Wow.
I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm done. I'll see you in another career. No, the point was, Rusty, you were meant to win the race and win the championship so we could do that tonight. It was scripted. I'm joking. I'm joking, of course.
Wow.
But that is the epitome of Monza. The epitome of AEC. The epitome of league racing. What the fuck? Do we even do interviews? I feel like there's going to be a few C-bombs.
Ooh. I mean, I'm down. I'm down to do some interviews.
I'm also down.
Wow. What a way to end the race. And I'm not sure what the points look like. NRX may be slightly gaining. But it could have been a 2-3 because Levi got Joe Murphy. So if Rusty just sat behind and picked his moves at a better time, it could have been a 1-3 or a 2-3. But yeah, NRX, after leading the whole race, Rusty tumbles down to P7 and Smokey is your race winner.
Griddy again, and I will... No,
That is poor.
yeah.
That's a 5-second time penalty. I'm joking.
Apparently I've died in 2033. I can't even spell. I'm just trying to soak up what happened.
I told you a lot of shouting would happen. That was a lot. But after all that, NRX do extend their lead at the top. Just not by as much as they were hoping for.
And it's still a British top 5.
It is. Absolutely brilliant.
After all of that. Let's get the top 3 in to start. The championship fight is only... Wait, no, ignore me. Rusty finished 4th. I thought, yeah.
No, that's overall. In the race,
Oh,
he
that's
finished
overall.
P7. Yep, P7 in the race.
Oh, yeah. Christ. Wow. I forgot we had a sprint.
Yep. Been a long night.
It has been a long night. The prediction result is no. So anybody who put channel points on Rusty, I'm sorry, they're gone. And it's no 4th straight victory for Rusty this evening. Interviews. My, oh my, have we got things to talk about. We've got our 3rd place finisher in the party, Joe Murphy, who we will start with. And Joe, your 5,000 to 1 championship pursuit goes on.
Yeah, I mean it does, but I'm not looking to win the championship. I'm just looking to get good results for BRT. And yeah, I don't think I'm capable of winning the championship.
Overall, though, it's your 3rd podium of the season, and one you had to work very, very hard for with Levi, and of course the early battles. Your race starts as well in both races were absolutely sensational. Just what was going through your head? Of course, that battle with VSR, perhaps a lot more significant.
Yeah, well at the start I was like nervous when I was in P1 because I didn't want to like spin or bottle or anything. But then I just decided to tuck into the DRS, and I was happy to take on a P2 at the time, but ended up being P3 due to a mistake.
Indeed. I'll hand it over to Loveland because I think I need to settle down some of these people.
Yeah. Well, bit of a collision. I think I caught that on the final corner. Not sure what happened, but you saved it. Just what happened with that incident?
Well, beforehand, I smacked into Rusty. I was lucky not to DNF. I smacked into Rusty's like left wheel when he
Oh
spun, so I
gosh.
lost out to Levi and Bowman, or not really Bowman, and I just sent one at a time. I didn't really see Bowman's penalty, but
Oh yeah.
if that stays, then yeah, I'll get P3, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Levi. And I think at one point I said only one of you could get your third podium of the season. But somehow both of you have. Drama is all I'm going to say to you, NRX Levi. But good ground in the championship. You thought you might have had as a team, suddenly lost with that final lap.
Yeah, it's obviously bittersweet. The RX party was rather silent after Ascari on the last lap.
Oh.
But I mean, if in terms of my race, it was pretty much maximised. To be fair, there was nothing more I could really have done. I think I was struggling a little bit from about lap 6 onwards. Just trying to keep in the DRS of I can't remember who it was. I can't remember if it was Joe or Smokey. Um, but yeah, so I went for the undercut there. It didn't really work. Managed to keep the DRS just string on the end. And then obviously, yeah, that incident on the last lap, I managed to part the seas and get a P2 from it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the sprint race, of course, a 1-2 behind Rusty. A lot better than what happened last time, to say the least.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong. Yeah, that was also pretty much maximised. I think Joe made a mistake on one of the last few laps. He went deep into turn 1. So I just hung it around the outside of turn 2. And then good teamwork from Matthew to just drop back a little bit to make sure he keeps me in DRS. And then, yeah, that was pretty much the 1-2 sealed for that sprint.
Indeed. Loveland, any questions for your top driver tonight?
When's the win coming, Levi? 3 races left. 3 P2s. You got Abu Dhabi finale. Possible Levi
Yeah.
win.
That's the one I'm looking forward to the most. I'm just looking at the calendar now. USA doesn't really excite me. But yeah, Abu Dhabi finale. So got high hopes for that one. Yeah, obviously I'm going to try and go for the win, but going to be very difficult on grids like these. And obviously PSR pumping out their best drivers now. So yeah, it's going to be very tough.
Well.
That's all.
It doesn't look like Smokey's joining us, but there is a great amount of respect. You know, the whole giving the place back, and ultimately that last few corner moment denied Rusty the chance of a title this evening. The graphic was ready and everything, but it will have to be reserved for the next race. Rusty actually wants an interview. Should we? Yeah, go on then. We've got to. I can't end it on such a cliffhanger. Let's invite him. But a recap of the final few races this season. We jet off to the Americas at COTA, and then we head south to Sao Paulo before, in a classic Formula One carbon neutral style, we go all the way back to the Middle East in Abu Dhabi, mirroring where we started in Bahrain. We have Rusty joining us now, and first of all, nice championship, mate. Well done.
Good one. Well,
Some Jish level bias right there, Joseph.
Oh, my esports career is over.
Esports career is ruined.
Oh.
my voice was quite loud. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you think I feel?
Yeah,
You do it every
all
week.
over again.
You kill me off. I've lost about 10 years of life expectancy doing these races. We've
Oh,
even got the
it's
race winner.
Smoky,
There might be a few words exchanged, and you're more than welcome to dash
No,
it
I've
out
got
on the
nothing.
stream.
I've got nothing bad to say. Just nothing bad at all. Smokey's he's a top driver. He's got great pace, and it was my mistake that cost it really. Yeah, that's all I can say really.
Absolutely. Choco, you're not having an interview. You joined on your fake account. Don't beg it. But Smokey, if you're up for a question, another win at Monza, and yeah, you've brought hope to PSR with that last lap battle.
Yeah, we have, but we still been outscored by a couple of points. So we've reduced the limitation of being like 20 more points behind, but still really good points for the team. And hopefully we can start gaining on NRX again.
And I'm looking forward to it very, very much. How, as an open question to everybody involved, how are we feeling about Kota next week? Because of course it's a very different circuit to what we've just raced at Monza.
Well, I'll probably
hope I
not
don't
be
spin on the
racing,
last
to be
lap.
honest.
Don't think I'm racing, so
Yeah, neither.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
not looking forward to it. So please don't pick me, Loveland.
I ain't got a choice.
I don't have much choice. Get sweating, son.
Practice
Well,
starts
Joseph,
now.
you know what that means? We might have the championship decided by technicality of Joe not turning up.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be quite an anticlimax.
You were supposed to win it tonight, Rusty. The graphic was
I
ready for
know.
you.
You broke the
No.
script.
If I got second, would I have still won it?
Yes.
No, you can.
Yeah, you
You're
would.
joking. No, I don't believe it.
Well,
You're telling me if I got second, I would have won the championship.
I believe.
I think you would have if I ended up overtaking.
Oh,
If
yeah,
Joe
no,
was
Yeah,
no,
Levi
fourth,
would have had
yes.
to get Joe as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have had to get Joe.
He's gone.
Fine.
He's gone. He's actually gone.
Oh,
But another great night of AEC, and we're going to do it all over again next week. And what else is joining us? The AEC Tier 1 and Tier 2 seasons are restarting after a very successful qualifying campaign over the last 2 nights. Make sure you tune in Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays for the next 3 weeks. It's going to be non-stop racing here on the AEC Twitch channel. But until then, we're going to end it now because it's just been chaotic start to finish.
I'm knackered.
And thank you to Loveland, as always. And we'll see you next time. Bye.